Tonight on Dark Matter Nap, we are going to look at a number that changes how you think about everything in the night sky. When we look up at the Milky Way on a clear night, we see a sweeping, glowing river of starlight cutting across the blackness. Our galaxy contains an estimated 400 billion stars. Most people hear that number and instantly picture a structure packed with tight, dense matter, star after star filling the sky from here to the edge of the galaxy. The reality is the exact opposite. 400 billion stars, and the galaxy is still almost perfectly empty. The stars are so unimaginably spread out that what we call a galaxy is really just a vast sheet of empty space with a few lonely suns scattered through it. The vast majority of the Milky Way has never been touched by a planet, a moon, or anything solid at all. Tonight, we will break down exactly where that emptiness comes from, why the stars ended up so impossibly far apart, and what that distance tells us about the way the universe has been building itself since the very beginning. Before we look into the grand architecture of this cosmic desert, take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It helps this channel reach more curious minds like yours. Now, settle in, turn off the lights, and let's face the deep dark. Chapter 2, 700 miles. 01300300. Let's look at the actual scale of our neighborhood. The average distance between stars in our part of the galaxy is roughly 4 to 5 light years. This isn't an exceptional void. It is the normal, everyday spacing between cosmic neighbors. Light is the fastest thing in existence, traveling at 186,000 miles per second. In a single year, light covers about 6 trillion miles. This means that our closest neighbor, Proxima Centauri, sits roughly 24 trillion miles away from our sun. To understand how vast this gap is, let's run a simple thought experiment. Imagine compressing our sun down to the size of a standard golf ball sitting on a table in front of you. On this exact same scale, the nearest star, Proxima Centauri, would be another golf ball sitting roughly 765 miles away. And in the space between those two golf balls, there is absolutely nothing. Our entire solar system, out to the frozen orbit of Neptune, is a microscopic speck occupying less than a fraction of a percent of that distance. The galaxy is defined by the distance, not by the stars. The reason for this immense emptiness traces back billions of years, long before the first star ever ignited. In the early universe, the cosmos was filled with vast, chaotic clouds of hydrogen and helium gas. These clouds were not perfectly uniform. They contained tiny density fluctuations, regions that were just slightly heavier than their surroundings. Gravity began to work on these heavier patches, pulling nearby gas inward. Over hundreds of millions of years, these regions grew more massive, pulling harder and harder in a continuous loop. But as these vast gas clouds collapsed under their own gravity, they began to rotate. It follows the same physical principle that makes a spinning ice skater spin faster when they pull their arms close to their body. The collapsing cloud flattened into a spinning disk. Within this disk, specific pockets of gas became hot and dense enough to ignite nuclear fusion and become stars. But because the original gas cloud was so vast, these pockets of stellar birth were small and scattered. The gaps were there first. The stars simply formed at isolated points inside a vast, pre-existing emptiness. The emptiness of our galaxy is not completely uniform. It alters dynamically depending on where you travel. Our sun resides far out in the suburbs of the Milky Way, inside a quiet lane called the Orion Spur. Out here, light years of empty space separate neighbors. But if you travel 26,000 light years inward, toward the central galactic bulge, the stellar landscape changes completely. Near the galactic core, the density of stars increases dramatically. Average separations drop from light years down to light weeks or even light days. At the absolute center of this crowded core sits Sagittarius A, a supermassive black hole with a mass 4 million times greater than our Sun. If you lived on a planet near this central core, your night sky would be spectacular beyond description. The sky would never go fully dark. Thousands of nearby suns would outshine anything we see from Earth. But this crowded environment is highly dangerous, saturated with frequent supernovae, intense radiation, and gravitational disturbances that tear planetary systems apart. The emptiness of our outer suburbs is the exact shield that keeps our solar system safe. Even though interstellar space is an exceptional vacuum, it is not completely empty. It contains what astronomers call the interstellar medium, a diffuse mix of gas and dust. To understand how thin this medium is, consider that a single thimbleful of air on Earth contains trillions of atoms. In open interstellar space, a cubic centimeter of space contains exactly one single atom. This is a vacuum far more perfect than anything we can produce in our advanced laboratories on Earth. Yet this near-nothingness is the literal engine of cosmic creation. Over millions of years, stellar winds and the shock waves of distant supernova explosions stir this thin gas. They compress it into cold, dark structures known as molecular clouds. When these clouds grow dense enough by space standards, gravity takes over once again, triggering a new generation of star birth. But the process is incredibly inefficient. A molecular cloud only converts about 1 to 3% of its mass into actual stars. The rest is blown away by radiation. The universe is highly selective, creating small, hot points of light surrounded by oceans of leftover gas. When we zoom out past our own galaxy, we realize that the emptiness inside the Milky Way is nothing compared to the absolute void of intergalactic space. Galaxies are not scattered randomly across the universe. They are organized into a vast network known as the cosmic web. Galaxies are threaded along thin filaments of matter, like glowing beads on an invisible string. And between these filaments sit the cosmic voids. Cosmic voids are vast regions of space where almost no galaxies exist. These voids are so immense that they occupy roughly 80% of the entire volume of the universe. The galaxies, the clusters, and all the structures we find interesting occupy only 20% of cosmic space. The largest known void spans close to 2 billion light-years across. If you were trapped inside a planet at the center of a cosmic void, you could look out with your telescopes for eternity and see nothing but blackness. The universe is a hierarchical emptiness, empty within atoms, empty between stars, and emptiest of all in the vast gulfs separating the galaxies. This architecture of emptiness leads to a profound realization about our place in time. Because the universe is expanding at an accelerating rate driven by dark energy, the vast voids are growing larger every single second. Space is stretching, pulling distant galaxy clusters away from us faster than the speed of light. Trillions of years from now, this expansion will carry every galaxy outside our local group completely beyond our horizon. The night sky will go dark. We live in a unique, beautiful window of cosmic history where the universe is still close enough to be seen and mapped. We are made of the exact same hydrogen that drifts through the interstellar vacuum. The carbon in our cells and the iron in our blood were forged inside the very stars that sit light years away from us tonight. We are small concentrations of cosmic matter that became temporarily organized enough to look back at the void and decode its laws. Thank you for joining me tonight on this deep exploration here on Dark Matter Nap. If this journey into the vast emptiness of our galaxy challenged the way you look at the night sky, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps us continue to create these late-night deep dives into the mysteries of existence. The next time you look up at the night sky and see the dark gaps between the stars, do not view them as empty failures of matter. View them as the vast canvas upon which the beautiful, temporary lights of our reality are painted. Sleep well tonight, knowing that our small world is safe in the quiet suburbs of the galaxy. Good night. and may your dreams reach far beyond the horizon.